Alright, guys. Episode 1, the first ever episode of Poker Gauntlet. The unsuspecting hero is in the big blind with the 8-9 of hearts. There's a min open by the hijack. This is 25 NL. We decide to call. So far, so good. 5-5-6. You could lead this board. Hero doesn't. Hero checks. Okay. Quarter pot. I think you can play raise. A lot of raise against this. If people are lazily range betting 5-5-6, I'd like to play a lot of raise. Call is okay. I prefer raise in practice here, I think. Even without the backdoor, we do raise here and we go very small. Small raise is interesting. A lot of people will think this is bigger than it is. They need to defend an absolute ton here of unpaired stuff as well as paired stuff. So far we like. The 10 of clubs comes in the turn. This is still just a single gutter. I think barreling is reasonable. I think giving up is reasonable. I don't think this will be an overfolded spot. Big blind against under the gun. We do go for the bet. I don't mind that. But if you think about our value region here, like what is it? It's maybe some jacks. Maybe something like 5x, something like pocket sixes. These are a value hand. So they're all mainly looking to go bigger. I think I'd rather just build around like an overbet here. If you look at the SPR, we have a lot of building to do. Villain calls again. The 10 comes in the river. I'd expect most ace high to be folding the turn here in this pool at 25 and L. This leaves the villain with a lot of pocket pairs. If they do have ace-x, it's kind of easy to cry and call the river. If you value bet this river, you are basically saying that you have some really weird, rare 10x that I don't think is much of a part of your range. Or a 5. How big would a 5 go? Very big. It'd probably want to overbet again. Probably not quite go all in on the 10 pairing on the river. I think you'd want to go bigger than this. I think your value region of pocket sixes, 5x, and the odd 10x, by and large, wants to go larger than this. So I don't think this bluff size makes a ton of sense from that range construction point of view. I also think the bigger problem with this is that it's a criminally underfolded node now. I just don't think on a double paired board at these stakes that overpairs are really ever folding to this sizing. This sizing, 2/3 pot, is needing around 40% fold equity to break even. And I just don't think you're getting that here. I think you're getting about 20-25% fold equity in this spot because the range has already been really filtered and is already very pair heavy, and it's just not the sort of texture people fold on. So even if you want to make an argument like this is an okay hand to bluff at equilibrium, we unblock clubs, blah blah blah, we have to have some bluffs. If I'm not bluffing this, what am I bluffing? None of these things matter. I think the bluff is just losing. It's just a bad bluff. So this hand was played okay up until the river. The river bluff is an easy one to make, but I think a very underfolded spot in general. And I think a very costly one. So there's a couple of elements that go into scoring here. The first one is obviously like how much EV the student is losing in the hand. And the second one is like how difficult or easy would it have been to avoid that. I think the EV loss here is substantial. It would have been quite hard to avoid it unless you're like aware of how ranges are playing at these stakes and the fact that this is probably underfolded. I'm going to give the student a 5 out of 10 for this hand. Actually, no, I'm going to give the student a 4 out of 10 for this hand because I think this bluff just costs quite a bit on the river. 4 out of 10.